Okay, good morning, everyone. Hello. I'm so excited to see so many of you here today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to attend. The great news is we're going to be spending a lot of time this morning doing some relaxation exercises. How often do we get to take time out of our busy lives and our busy days to implement some of these strategies? Not much, right? So this is hopefully going to be a treat for you as you start your day off. Thank you so much for attending. Chantel, will you be advancing these first few slides?
Yes, so I can stop sharing and you can start sharing your slides if you'd like.
Okay, all right,
Perfect.
I will do that.
And while you are doing that, I would love to introduce you so folks know who you are, because we're so excited to have you here with us all today. So welcome to Smita. She is our well-being coach with SNHU's Help You program, which is sponsoring this program as well. So she graduated from the University of Pittsburgh School of Pharmacy with a BS degree in pharmacy and earned certification as a registered pharmacist. So after 20 years of pharmacy, Smita completed training and certification in health and wellness coaching from Well Coaches and the leading organization for health coaching, and began working with clients in 2013. So outside of working with clients through individual coaching, Smitha facilitates group coaching, educational seminars, and small group discussions on a wide range of topics, including stress management, diabetes and heart disease prevention, meal planning, and fitness. And she also regularly leads meditation and relaxation sessions, teaching mindfulness, guided visualization, and progressive muscle relaxing techniques. So I would love to now go ahead and pass the virtual microphone over to you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that introduction. I still see a lot of people trying to get into the room. Are you able to admit them while I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you all. Okay, are you able to see that okay?
Yes, we can see that.
Okay, great. Let's get started. Okay, welcome to Control Breathing, Control Stress. Okay, our objectives for today are to talk about how powerful our breath is and how we can use it as a tool to reduce daily stress. It's also important to identify what our stress triggers are. And we will spend some time, this is where I really want to spend most of the time today, is to practice breathing exercises. And I'll give you an opportunity at the end for any comments or questions. We're going to be talking about how we can use breath as a tool to manage daily stress levels. We're going to start with a discussion around the power of our breath as a stress management tool. From there, we'll spend some time discussing the areas in our life where we may experience stress frequently. We're going to practice, and then finally, we will leave some room at the end for comments and questions. So first, I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to use the chat box. Have you ever tried breathing exercises before? Let your group know. I'd be really interested to see if any of you have actually ever practiced this or you do this on a regular basis. Have you ever tried breathing before? Breathing exercises. There's so many different benefits. Dealing with stressful situations can have physical consequences because of how stress activates our fight or flight response. This response is meant to be a short-term reaction, but in today's busy world and so many competing demands that we have on our plate, sometimes we stay in this fight or flight mode for a lot longer than what's good for our health. Breathing, though, is such a powerful tool because it helps shift our body out of that fight or flight response. It turns off stress and instead it turns on a calming response. The best part of all of this is our breath goes anywhere that we go. So some of the benefits, it helps us stay calm. It helps us reduce stress. It increases blood flow to our brains. It just slows everything down, including our heart rate. As we practice, this tool becomes more and more effective. And there's also other health benefits, like we can lower our blood pressure in those moments of stress. So as you can see, there's so many benefits to incorporating this very valuable tool. Before we begin, it's really important to recognize what triggers stress in your life. In order to get the most out of today's chat, it's important to identify opportunities where you can utilize and practice some of the techniques that we're about to embark upon. Take a moment to consider, are there times of the day that are more stressful for you than others? Are there certain people that trigger stress in your life? We might not always know off the top of our heads what's causing us stress in that moment, but becoming more aware of what triggers our stress can help us proactively plan when to utilize these stress management techniques. There's different triggers for everyone. For some people, it's the time of day. Maybe first thing in the morning is so hectic as you're getting your day started. For others, maybe it's certain events or situations or circumstances that trigger that. Also, our reactions can play a role into this too. How we perceive the stress, how we react to the stress. And finally, looking at your coping response. How do you cope with stress? These are all important to identify. And only then can we begin to really implement this powerful tool. As I mentioned, this is where I want to spend the bulk of our time together, is actually practicing, because there's 4 techniques that we're going to take a look at today. There are so many different techniques out there, but since we only have 30 minutes together, we're going to focus in on 4 today. And here they are. We're going to be discussing square or box breathing, another breathing technique called the 4-7-8. We'll take a look at progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR, and we'll end with guided visualization. I will lead you through each one of these. This is supposed to be really fun, relaxing, and just a great time for you to start your day off with a really nice stress reliever. Before we begin, this is a great time, if you haven't already, to silence your cell phones. Take a nice comfortable position in your chair, nice posture with your back upright, legs uncrossed, and arms at your side. For maximum benefit with this first breathing technique, you may even close your eyes. I'll give you a second to get comfortable. And the first technique we're going to try is called box breathing. Like I said, I'll walk you through it. It's very simple, but effective. Okay, if you're ready to begin and you're nice and comfortable, we're going to take a nice deep breath in through our nose for a count of 4, and then we're going to breathe out through our mouth for a count of 4. Super simple, right? But effective. Okay, hopefully you are nice and relaxed in your chair and we can begin. Let's begin. Take a nice deep breath in through our nose for 4 seconds. And breathe out through your mouth for 4 seconds. One more time. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. And out through our mouth for 4 seconds. One last time, breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. And out through your mouth for 4 seconds. When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Okay, that is our first technique. Easy peasy, right? Just a general box breathing where we just took our inhale through our nose, exhale through our mouth, and believe it or not, as simple as that seems, this does reduce cortisol, which is the stress hormone that's released in our body, and in turn can reduce blood pressure as well. As I mentioned, our breath goes everywhere we go, so this tool is always at your disposal. So powerful, so effective, and so easy. I hope you enjoyed that one. Feel free to comment in the chat box as we go about which one of these techniques you're enjoying, or if you're finding these effective for you. Next, we're going to talk about the 4-7-8 breathing technique. This one involves inhaling through our nose for a count of 4, holding our breath for a 7 count, and then exhaling through our mouth for a count of 8. There's lots of usages for this one. This one can be really great if you're having trouble sleeping, or you did fall asleep, but then something wakes you up, something that's stressful, that's circulating in your mind and you can't seem to calm down at night. This is a really great technique to employ at times like that. They used to say count sheep back in the day. Now it's been replaced by breathing techniques, in particular this one. It also helps prepare our body for sleep. It promotes the mind-body connection. This one can reestablish the balance in your blood between the CO2 and CO2, and it increases our sense of well-being. Let's talk about some tips with this one before we actually practice. This style of breathing is most effective by placing the tip of your tongue behind your teeth, right where the back of your teeth meet the roof of your mouth, and hold it there as you breathe in, hold your breath, and then exhale through your mouth, almost like you're making a gentle whoosh sound. This is a powerful technique, and we are going to give it a try in just a minute. So again, placing your tongue behind your upper teeth. Inhale, we're going to inhale deeply through our nose for a count of 4. We're going to hold our breath for 7 and completely exhale through our mouth for 8. We'll repeat this cycle about 3 times for maximum benefit. So again, get comfortable in your chair, have a nice upright posture, legs uncrossed, arms at your side, and for maximum benefit, you may close your eyes. And let's begin. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for 7 seconds. And exhale for a count of 8. One more time. And take a nice deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 7 seconds. Exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. One last time. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold the breath for 7 seconds. And exhale out your mouth for 8 seconds. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. Okay, would love to know how that one felt for you. Feel free to use the chat box. I'll take a turn at the end looking at that. Hopefully you found that one relaxing as well. You can see these are pretty simple to use. Hopefully you found these effective. And again, these breathing techniques are so great because we can use them anywhere, anytime. And as simple as they are, they're really great for bringing down that stress hormone. Next, let's take a look at another technique. This one is called PMR, or progressive muscle relaxation. This one involves breathing in and tensing each muscle group in the body as we hold our breath for about 5 seconds, and then relaxing those muscles as you breathe out. I'll walk you through this whole thing so it will be easy. This is slightly different from the first two techniques that we've practiced. This is great because it allows us to work out all that tension that we tend to carry in our muscles, especially when we're stressed. Did you ever notice how tense our shoulders and our neck areas get, especially when we're holding in all that stress? This technique's a great one to work out that tension, leaving your muscles feeling more flexible and relaxed and less rigid. And when you're doing this technique, imagine that stressful feelings are just flowing out of your body as you relax each muscle group. Now, this technique works great when you have a lot of time to go through each muscle group. It's very rare that any of us has that kind of time. So keep in mind, this is still effective even if you just pick 1 or 2 muscle groups at a time to work on. For today's purposes, we will go through a few muscle groups, but in your workday or in your day, during the course of the day, if you're feeling tense, if you're feeling that muscle rigidity, just pick 1 or 2 muscle groups, spend a couple of minutes on this technique, and you'll really notice the difference. Okay, who's ready to practice? Again, let's get comfortable. Take a moment to shift in your seat. Put your feet on the floor. Nice posture, arms uncrossed. And if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, it's optional. You can leave them open if you choose. Okay, let's begin. Starting with your toes. As you breathe in through your nose, I want you to curl your toes under and squeeze and hold that tension until I say so. Just squeeze and hold that tension in your toes. And now slowly exhale and release and let that tension out. Moving to your legs, take a deep breath in and tighten your thighs and calves and hold that tension. Now slowly release, exhale, and let all that tension out. Next, make a fist with your hand, with both your hands. Inhale and squeeze those fists. Hold it. Release, exhale, and let all the tension out. Moving on, I want you to crunch your shoulders up towards your ears as hard as you can and hold that tension. Release, relax, and let it all go. Finally, scrunch all the tiny muscles in your face. You're almost like making a funny face and squeezing that tension in your face and hold it. Release, relax, exhale, and let all that tension out. Notice how you feel. Notice how those few muscle groups feel. And you may open your eyes. There's so many benefits of PMR. It reduces our physical tension. It can reduce headaches. It can reduce symptoms of chronic pain. It shifts us out of that fight or flight stress response. It can help prepare our body for sleep. And it just feels really good. Hopefully you noticed the difference in just a few of those muscle groups that we went through. Next, we're going to move on to a technique called guided visualization. It's the practice of focusing on positive images so that we replace negative feelings or thoughts that you might be having. This technique can bring in various senses and details like smells and temperatures and colors, and it's a very powerful exercise. Some people find it helpful to focus on specific imagery. We're going to do a very brief guided visualization together. Again, take a moment to get comfortable. You may close your eyes. Now, gently turn your attention to think of a place that's beautiful or peaceful. A place where you feel at ease and comfortable. This could be a place you've actually been to or a place that you imagine. Once you have that place in mind, start to take in your surroundings. What colors do you notice? What sounds can you hear? What temperature is it? If you're outside, can you feel the warmth of the sun on your skin? What smells do you notice? Try to use all your senses to feel immersed in this beautiful space. Allow yourself to be fully present in this happy place. Now, notice a path leading away from this place, and in your mind's eye, begin to walk on that path, knowing that you can return to this place at any time in your mind. As you return, slowly start to bring your awareness back to the room that you're in, and when you're ready, you may open your eyes. Okay, hopefully you were able to picture a setting that's very calm and peaceful to you. Now, because we're limited with time today, we did go a little quicker than I would have liked, but you can imagine what the technique is like, and you can definitely spend a little bit more time really imagining that calming, beautiful place. Engage all your senses and really allow yourself to get there. There's so many benefits of guided visualization. It helps with the feeling of being burnt out. It calms and soothes us. It shifts our minds away from negative thoughts or anxiety or from worry because it brings us to that happy place. Okay, so we practiced 4 different techniques: the box breathing, the 4-7-8, PMR, and guided visualization. Now it's time to think. There's so many opportunities where you can implement these strategies. Maybe you're sitting in your car for a moment before going into work or school, or when you're transitioning from your day life into your evening life, or before you go to bed, or first thing in the morning. There's always a great time to employ these techniques. And as I mentioned, they're just so valuable. So hopefully you found these helpful and can find times of your day where you can implement these strategies. Before we leave today, I would like to offer resources. There are great apps out there for meditation. Insight Timer, Headspace, and Calm are very popular meditation apps. There's also a website, mindful.org, which has a lot of great meditations and guided meditations. There's also the Mindful Minute podcast. And of course, YouTube is full of resources where they have mini yoga sessions. They've got guided meditations, all kinds of things on YouTube. At this time, I'd like to bring this back to you. And if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to either enter them in the chat box or you can take yourself off of mute at this time.
Hey, this is Sasha. I think it was a really good thing that you did. So I want to keep that in mind.
Okay, I'm seeing a lot of great messages come in. Okay, great. Box breathing was very powerful. Is there a recommended amount of time that you should dedicate to each exercise per day? That is a great question. I would say there is no recommended amount of time, but remembering to do these strategies regularly is a great way to implement self-care and to prevent burnout. Whatever amount of time you can spend on this, even if it's just a few minutes here and there, it's still very effective. All right, I'm seeing people say PMR was a favorite, guided visualization. Great. I am so glad that you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great, productive rest of the day. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.
Thank you so very, very much. We appreciate you. I feel more relaxed. I feel like I can speak for everyone. We all feel relaxed, have some wonderful techniques to